today's topic is about on transportation, and transportation is about, say for example, let me start with the diagram out here. It's about transportation of goods from the plants to warehouses. Okay, from the factory to warehouses, when you want to transport your items, how can you transport at the least cost and at the shortest route? Okay. So the main objective of my problem is I want to transport items or transfer items from point of demand to the point of destinations. Okay. So, and these are to be done at a least cost. So this is nothing but a simplified case of minimization. Okay. So what do I have is that I have some plants, which is factories out here. Okay. Then I have some warehouses. Okay. I have one plant out here, which is P1. Then I have another plant, which is P2, and another plant, which is P3. Okay, and these are producing certain amount of goods and goods. So these goods has to be transferred to warehouses. Once they are being made, they have to be transferred to warehouse 1, warehouse 2, and warehouse 3. Okay, and they have certain constraints. Say for example, plant 1 can supply certain amount of products, and this we call it as S1, S2, and S3. Means plant 1 can produce 100 units of item, plant 2 can produce only 50 units, plant 3 can produce only 1000 units, and so on. Similarly, every warehouse, it has a demand capacity. It has a demand capacity means it can store a certain capacity only. So for example, warehouse 1 can store only 100 units, and so on. So it has D1, D2, and D3. So for example, the Ramrikon warehouse that we are having for the FCI Godown, it has a certain capacity of tons only. So it cannot store beyond that. If it wants to store beyond that, it has to keep it outside. And once you keep it outside, rain comes in, the rats will come in, and everything will be destroyed. Okay, so you have these things. So what are the things that you can transfer? So the products that are produced from P1 can be transferred to W1, it can be transferred to W2, and it can be transferred to W3. Similarly, the products that I have from P2 can be transferred to W1, W2, and W3. And similarly, from product 3, it can be transferred to W1, W2, and W3. Okay. So the whole structure of the problem is that this whole thing, when I see these alternatives, you have so many alternatives. P1 has 3 alternatives, P2 has 3 alternatives, P3 also has 3 alternatives. So altogether 9 alternatives are there. Out of this, which one will give me the least cost? And that is what I want to find out. Okay. So if I have to solve this problem, how can I solve? I can solve it by using minimization. Okay, I'm not going to write the whole thing again. This all 9 equations, I can write it out here. Okay, and these have to be fulfilled with the demand constraints as well as the supply constraints. Okay, so you have the supply constraints should be fulfilled as well as the demand constraints also should be fulfilled, meaning that if 100 units of warehouse 1, it needs to fill in only 100 units. If there is 200 units of warehouse items can be stored in warehouse 2, it should fill in only 200. Okay. Similarly, warehouse 3 can fill in 700 units, means it can fill in only up to 700 units. Okay. So these needs to be fulfilled. So that means that we have one condition that S1 plus S2 plus S3 should be equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3. Before we solve the problem, we have an assumption that this has to be fulfilled. Okay, the assumption is that the demand should be equal to supply. Okay, and if it does not fulfill, then we have to put in some dummy. means we have to put in some extra figures out there, and which will make it equal. And those are what we call as dummy. It could be dummy supply or it could be dummy demand. Okay. And the cost involved in those dummy supply and demand, it cannot be it will be generally given as 0. Okay. Now we cannot solve these problems like this. So in order to solve these problems, what do? Is we use a matrix. So I will explain the matrix to you first. Okay. So the transportation matrix, I'll give you a simple example and I'll explain with that, and we'll follow with that only. Okay. So how do we find the solutions to these things? Before doing that, let me first show you the first table. This is the table number 1. Okay. And we write the warehouses on top out here. Warehouse. Okay. Then warehouse has supply out here, so it has a supply condition out here. Okay. Now suppose I have 3 warehouses, warehouse 1, warehouse 2, and warehouse 3, and this is followed by supply, and supply I write as SI. Okay. Now you draw one straight line on top of this and draw columns for every warehouse and one column for supply. Okay. So I have drawn this line out here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So since I have warehouse out here, where are the plants then? The plants are also given on the side. Okay. Now here I will be having the plants. So plants I'll write out here. Just to see the camera, I'm just putting it on the side, plants. Okay. And here we'll write P1, P2, and P3. I have 3 plants. Okay. And of course, along with the plants, I have to fulfill the demand also. And after this, demand is given out here, and demand is denoted by Dj. Okay. Now these plants, again, you draw a line across that, the row. Okay. So for 3 plants and 3 warehouses, what I have is a diagram somewhat like this. P1, P2, P3, and DJ. Then you have W1, W2, W3, and SI. Okay. Now, once I have these things laid out, when I then in the table out here, in the inside of this table, what do? Is we draw another small square on the left hand corner. Okay, on the left hand corner of the cell, this is called a cell, and each cell is represented by P1 W1, P1 W2, P1 W3, and this is the supply side, so we don't bother this. P2 W1, P2 W2, P2 W3, P3 W1, P3 W2, P3 W3. Okay, then in each corner out here, we draw a small rectangle, and this rectangle will have some figure, and this figure is nothing but the cost of transportation of 1 unit of product from plant to warehouse. That means, suppose I have this number 7, 6, 9, 5, 7, 3, 4, 5, and 8. This means that 7 rupees is the cost of transporting 1 item for plant 1 to W1. Okay. The second one is 6 rupees. 6 rupees is the cost of transporting 1 item from plant 1 to warehouse 2. 9 rupees is the cost of transporting 1 item from plant 1 to warehouse 3. So similarly, these are the costs. Okay. Now, every cell in the supply side, there are also some figures given out here. 20 is given out here. I'm writing it on the side. another is given 28 and 17. Okay, then in the demand side here it is given 21, 25 and 19. What does it mean? It means, if you remember, as I've said, plant 1 can produce only 20 units. Plant 2 produces only 28 units. Plant 3 produces only 17 units. Similarly, warehouse 1 can store 21 units. Warehouse 2 can store 25 units. Warehouse 3 can store 19 units only. Okay. Now, is the demand equal to supply? Is it true or false? Now you find it out here. You add up all these numbers out here. How much you get? 7 plus 8, 5. Then add 1. So 65 out here. And here again, same 9 plus 1, 10. 10 plus 5, 15. And add another 1. And 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, 65. And this is what we call as a balanced problem. If the problem is balanced, now we can solve this problem. Okay. So this is the fundamental problem which is given to you. Now, how do you find out, how do you solve this problem? Okay. Now, in order to solve this problem, let us go, there are 2 steps involved. I'll come back to this table again. Okay. Now, in order to solve a transportation problem, what are the things that are required? Okay. Solution to transportation problem. Okay. All right. There are 2 steps involved in it. The first step is called finding the feasible solution. Finding the feasible solution. First, you have to find a solution which may be right. Just like in your graphical method, you first find out a feasible solution. So how do you find out a feasible solution? There are 3 methods. You could use any one of them. But today I'll be covering all the 3. Okay. So the first one is called the northwest corner method. Northwest corner method. This is a very simple method. Okay. Northwest corner method. Northwest corner method. Then the second one is called the least cost method. The least cost method. Okay. And we also call it as LCM. The third method is called Vogels approximation method. Vogels approximation method. And in short, we call it VAM. Vogels approximation method. Okay. So this is the first step. Once you get the feasible solution, then you have to find the second step, which is what we call as finding the optimal solution. You have to find out whether that is the best solution or not. Okay. Now the second step is called finding the optimal solution. The optimal solution will take some time, but generally we use this. Okay. There are 2 methods which is being used in finding the optimal solution. The methods that are being used are, number 1, after you find out the initial feasible solution, you have to test by doing this. You can use any of these 2 methods. The first one is called stepping stone method. Stepping stone method. Stepping stone method is a little bit complex, but I'll tell you about it. Okay, and the second one is called modified distribution method. Modified distribution method. This is a simple method, but it requires a lot of calculation. Modified distribution, it is also called Modi method. Okay. All right, but for today, what I'll be doing is that I'll be taking up these 3 methods. Okay. Now let me start with the first method, which is the northwest corner method. The northwest corner method is a very simple method. Let us start the same problem with the northwest corner method. Okay, in the northwest corner method, what do? We search for the northwest. Or where is the northwest? Okay. Generally, when we look into any map, what we do is when you go into any map, you will find that it is written as north and south, and there is east and west. So where is the northwest? The northwest is in the corner out here, on the left hand side and on the top. This is what we call as the northwest corner. So you start from here. Okay. So you have a problem here. So we start from the first one. So can you see both? Okay. Yeah. All right. So what is the northwest out here? The northwest cell is P1 and W1. The north, south, east, west. So the north out here and west out here. So the northwest, this point. So in this point, you look into the how much of the supply amount is there and how much of the demand amount is there. Okay. Now check out these two. Which one has the least out here? The least is 20. So this out of this 20 and 21, how much can I allocate? I can allocate 20 units in P1 W1. So I allocate 20 units out here and you draw a circle on it. Okay. So 20 units are allocated in this P1 W1 and subtract this 20 from here. So it becomes 0. And subtract this 20 from here. How much is left out? 1 is left out. Okay. So 20 units from plant 1 has been sent to warehouse 1 at the cost of 7 rupees per unit. Okay. Now warehouse plant 1 supply is finished. Okay. Now, so this row I cannot do anything. So let's go to the second row. The second row I have plant 1, plant 2, but in warehouse 1. So you have this, when you look into this column, there is 1 left out here. And when you look into this row out here, 28 is there. So which one is the least among them? The least is 1. So this 1 is also allocated here. I cannot allocate 28 out here because it cannot, it can give only 1. So I have allocated 1 out here and subtract this 1 from here, 0. And subtract this 1 from here, how much is left out? 27. Okay. Now warehouse 1 is exhausted and now I'll go to warehouse 2 and this particular plant 2. Now when I compare these two again, how much do I have? 25 and 27. The least is 25. So 25 is allocated here. So subtract this 25 from here, 27 minus 25, 2 is left out, and 25 minus 25, 0. Okay. Now still in this plant 2's product, there is still 2 left out here. So which I can allocate in warehouse 3, 2 and 19. So which one is the least out here? 2. So I allocate 2 out here and subtract this 2 from here, becomes 0, and 19 minus 2, 17 is left out. Okay. Now in the last column, I cannot go to this cell because 0 is here. I cannot go to this cell because 0 is here. I cannot go to this cell because 0 is here. So the only thing being left out is out here. So how much can I allocate out here? You have 17 and 17. So I will allocate 17 here. So 17 minus 17, 0, and 17 minus 17, 0. Now you see that it is supply has become 0, 0, 0, and demand has also become 0, 0, and 0. That means this is the end of the problem. Okay. Now, what is the total cost of transportation out here? So you write down here the total cost of transportation is how much? The total cost of transportation is, I have to write down the cells which are occupied. These are called the occupied cells. Okay, these are called non-occupied cells. Okay, so what is my occupied cells? The occupied cells are P1W1. Then the next one is P2W1. Then this one is P2W2 plus P3 W3, and of course the last one is plus P3 W3. Now put the values of these. These are nothing but P1 into W1 means what? It means 7 into 20. 7 is the cost per unit of items being transported, and 20 is the number of units which are being transported. So you have how much out here? 7 into 20 plus the next one, 5 into 1 plus P2 into W2, 7 into 25. Let me write it down further here. Then 3 into 2 and plus 8 into 17, and the total is equal to rupees 462. Okay, so this is called the northwest corner method, and this is one of the simplest method. Okay, now let's go to the second method. Second method is called the least cost method. It is also quite similar to this, but here what do we do is we start with the least cost. If you look into the northwest corner method, we don't bother about whether when you look into this out here, you see that this is 7 rupees and this is 6 rupees. Why should I use 7 rupees instead of 6 rupees? This is wrong, right? So like here I am using 7 rupees, while there is the cost of transporting 3 rupees is less out here, and 4 rupees I am leaving it out. So it's not a very good method. Okay, so that's why we need to choose another method called the least cost method. Okay, so let me show another table out here. I'm going to take up the same problem again, table 2. So I'm going to write again the same thing, warehouse W1, W2, W3, and here is supply, which is SI. I'm going to draw the lines again. P1, P2, P3, and DJ. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same figures again, trans and demand. Okay, so the numbers are 7, 6, 9, 5, 7, 3, 4, 5, 8, and I have 21, 25, 19, 20, 28, and 17, and it's a balance problem. Okay. Now let us solve this problem by using the least least method, least square method. Okay, the least cost method. So among these, which one is the least cost? So you see there is a cost of 7 rupees, 8 rupees, 9 rupees, and so on. 3 rupees is the least cost. So in this 3 rupees, how much can I allocate out here? So you see this row and column. So what is the figure out here? You have 19 and 28. So how much can I allocate out here? So I can allocate which one is the least among them. So that is 19. Okay, and draw a circle on it. So subtract this 19 from 28. How much I have? 9. Okay, and 19 minus 19 is 0. Okay, this is the first step. Now the second step is, now after this 3, look for the next least cost. What is the next least cost? 4. So in this 4, how much can I allocate? 17 and 21 I can allocate, which is the least one? 17. Okay, so I'm allocating 17 here. So subtract the 17 from here, you get 0. 21 minus 17, 4. Okay, now once I have this, again, what is the next least cost? I have 2 least costs out here. One is 5 here and another is 5 out here. Can I allocate this 5 out here? I cannot, because there is a 0 already here. So I can forget this one. Okay, so I'll see this one. So here I have 4 and 9. So which one is the least? 4. So I allocate 4 out here. 4 minus 4, 0. 9 minus 4, 5. Okay. Now once 5 is being done, how much is left out now? What is the next least cost? The next least cost is 6. Now this 6 I have in the row 20 and in the column 25. Which one is the least out here? 20. So you give this 20 out here, and 20 minus 20 is 0, and 25 minus 20, I have 5. Okay. Now after this 6, what is the next least cost? The next least cost is 7. Now can I use this 7 out here? There is a 0 here and there is a 0 here, so I cannot use this. How about this one? So this one I have 5 here and 5 here, and this is the only one which is being left out. So I use this 5 here. So minus this 0 and minus 5, 0. Now everything is 0. Now I have come to the end of the solution. Okay. Now what is my total cost? My total cost is, if you see the occupied cells, my first occupied cell is P1W2 plus P2W1 plus P2W2 plus P2W3 plus one more, which is P3W1. And what are the costs which are involved in it? The first one is 6 into 20. 6 into 20. Okay. Then the next one is 5 into 4. And the next one is 7 into 5. And the next one is 3 into 19. 3 into 19. And the last one is 4 into 17. When you multiply all this and add it up, what you get is lesser than what you have got earlier, and what you get is nothing but rupees 300. Now you see, in my earlier problem I got 462. See this. Now there is a difference of 162 rupees. Okay, so there is a difference between these two methods. Okay, now the next method is called Google's approximation method, but I think that will take some time to solve the problem, so I'll leave that out for the time being. Okay, now in Google's approximation method, what we do is we do a penalty points, and on the basis of it, what you call costs are being selected. It's also quite similar to the least cost method only. Okay. So, but all these three methods, they don't give you the best result all the time. There is no such thing as that the least cost method is the best. There is no such case as that Google's approximation is the least all the time. So that's why we need to do the second step, which is finding out the optimal solution. Okay. So for today, I'll leave you with these two. Now the second part is that you have to do a quiz of 10 questions, which I have already put up in the LMS. Now you log on to LMS and you'll get 10 minutes to do those, what we call objective type questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, it is already on